I'm Andrea, standing in the chaos of my parents' house, surrounded by the screams of my sister and the panicked whispers of my father. I felt a strange sense of calm. Just moments ago, I had transferred $450,000 into their accounts, and now their world was crashing down around them. Andrew, my father, held his phone, his face ashen as he whispered, "All our accounts are frozen. Federal hold. It was a long time coming. Let me take you back to the day that changed everything." I buried my 7-year-old son, Lucas, alone under the sweltering Miami sun. The humidity was suffocating, and sweat soaked through my black dress. I kept looking towards the cemetery gates, hoping for a sign of my family. But there was nothing. No mother, no father, no sister, just me and the unbearable silence. I made excuses for them at first. Maybe they were stuck in traffic, or my sister Lily's flight was delayed. But then my phone buzzed. It was a link from my mother, Victoria, to a luxurious beachfront villa. The price? $1. $3 million, exactly the amount of Lucas's life insurance and trust fund combined. While I was laying my child to rest, they were shopping for their new life. When I got home, instead of the expected breakdown, a cold clarity washed over me. I logged into my mother's favorite gift ordering website. I had her password because I was always the one to order the gifts she took credit for. There, I found the order for the funeral flowers placed 2 weeks ago. They had planned their absence. I then turned to my banking portal. I had added Lily as an authorized user on our joint credit card 3 years ago when she claimed to need help building credit. While I was at the funeral home, she had spent $350 at a high-end beauty store, and while I was writing Lucas's eulogy, she dropped $180 at a fancy restaurant. I removed her as an authorized user without hesitation. Next, I thought about the family cabin in the Smoky Mountains. They called it a family place, but my name was the only one on the deed. I bought it after my divorce, a place for Lucas to experience snow. My parents used it every other weekend to entertain their friends, while I paid the property taxes. I changed the access codes on the smart lock app, cutting them off from the cabin. I also severed all the digital connections they had with me, like shared streaming services and cloud storage. They always thought I was weak, that grief would make me an easy target. But they were wrong. Looking back, I realized how long I had been their financial crutch. For years ago, my father retired early, saying he deserved a break. My mother, Victoria, called me in tears, saying they were about to lose the house. I had just landed a big contract as a wildlife illustrator, and feeling guilty and rich, I started paying their second mortgage. Every month, $1,800 left my account. My father never said thank you, just a simple, "Good girl. At least you're making yourself useful." Lily also took advantage of me. She wanted to go to Bali for her birthday to boost her influencer brand. My mother cornered me at dinner, saying Lily was so talented and just needed a break. I paid for her flight, and she never even tagged me in the photos she posted. And when she totaled her Mercedes in a texting accident, my father panicked about his credit score, and I paid the $450 deductible. They used intermittent reinforcement on me. They would starve me of affection for weeks, and then, just when I was about to walk away, they'd give me a small compliment or a short hug. It kept me coming back, thinking they loved me. But after Lucas's death, they sent me a box full of their overdue bills with a note from my mother saying, "Family helps family." That was the last straw. The shame I felt for not being good enough evaporated, and it turned into fuel. 2 days ago, they showed up at my door. Andrew barged in, checking my fridge and throwing out expired food, trying to build a case that I couldn't take care of myself. Victoria stared at my wildlife paintings on the wall and said they were too dark and obsessive, that I was spiraling. They presented me with a voluntary conservatorship document, saying they wanted to manage Lucas's trust fund for my own good. If I didn't sign, they threatened to call the authorities and have me involuntarily committed, using forged evidence. I knew I had to fight back. I hired Eric, a lawyer, and his office was more like a bunker. His partner, Kelly, a retired judge and my late husband's aunt, was sharp-eyed and no nonsense. They found out that Lily was in debt to an illegal Miami gambling ring for $380,000, and my parents had co-signed. They had 48 hours before things got violent, which explained their sudden desperation for Lucas's trust fund. They had also prepared false court filings claiming I was suicidal. But I had data to prove them wrong. My fitness tracker showed I was asleep when they said I was manic, and security footage proved I was painting quietly when they said I was destroying furniture. I decided to set a trap. I went to my parents' house and played defeated. I transferred the money, and as soon as I did, Andrew's phone rang with the news of the frozen accounts. I revealed that I had filed an IRS whistleblower report the day before. The ledger flagged their accounts, and the transfer triggered an automatic freeze. The fallout was immediate. My parents lost their house, and Lily fled the state. I received a whistleblower reward, enough to start over. I used the rest of Lucas's trust to create the Lucas Anderson Wildlife Conservation Scholarship. I didn't lose my family. I finally stopped carrying them. And that's how I learned to let go.